once you open your kit, you'll see that there's some cream cardstock, 2 pieces of black that are pre-cut, and the rest of the pieces. The thing we're going to start with is cutting the cream colored stock. And you'll see on the instructions right here, you can see that it says it's going to be 8.5 wide. So we're going to go this way and we're going to cut it at 5. And then this on the other side is going to be at 5.5. So basically what I would say to do is just cut it directly in half at 5.5, because the side on the left with the headline is going to be torn at the bottom, and I inked it. You can obviously go ahead and ink that if you'd like, or you can just leave it plain. You can use whatever color ink that you want. On my sample that I did on my layout, I used like a walnut ink, which is just the brown kind of color. I'm going to try it with a little bit of the hickory smoke, which is kind of like a black with a little bit of brown. So this is what I use when I do mine, just because I have a little bit more control. You can use an ink pad, you can use chalk if you have some in your stash. As you can see for mine, it is slowly dying. So I'm having a little bit of a problem, so I'm going to pull something out of the trash, and I'm going to show you a different way to do this. You can, first you got to get it started. So I use my extra piece of paper, whatever's in the garbage, to do that. You can also, with this, use a Q-tip or even a sponge brush. You just want to hit the edge of it. The brown obviously will make it look a little bit more burnt, which would go really well with this kit. I just wanted to do something that was a little bit different than what we did on the original. So we're going to start gluing this down. I'm going to leave the the dot on the eye in place to show you how to use your X-Acto, or just come in with a really tiny pair of scissors to cut that off. Okay, so I'm just going to use whatever liquid adhesive you like. And again, we're going to wait until it completely dries till we cut that dot of the eye off. It should line up perfectly for you. If it doesn't line up perfectly, turn things around and see what you're doing wrong. You don't need a ton of glue on this, just enough to tack it down. Okay, R. We're gonna put s'more on afterwards. I'm gonna do the same thing with the friends. I'm going to, actually I changed my mind. I'm gonna cut them apart because they're far enough apart that I think that they'll be easy to lay in there. If they were tighter, I would say just leave them, but these are pretty straightforward. So I'm just gonna clip these. Okay. And everything should line up no problem. Everything was custom cut and designed for this. So fun with, and again, don't put adhesive in between where the eye is connected. It'll just make it easier to cut it off later if you just leave it with none on there. Okay, last one, friends. Okay, the friends. Okay, so our s'more is gonna go here. I'm gonna pop dot mine up because, as everybody knows, I like to pop dot things. So there's some pretty thick pieces on here to pop dot it. So you shouldn't have to cut anything or use any fancy pop dots for this. And as you guys know, I don't go crazy with pop dots all the time. I mean, I use pop dots all the time. I don't go crazy with them. Okay. I'm gonna test it out first because it should stand up there no problem. And it does. So once they're on there, push them all on. Now take off the backs. like that. I did not put anything underneath where the stick's gonna go, because when we put the headline onto the actual layout, we're just gonna slide it in. So you can have it in place where you want. I prefer to have it so it sticks up, so you can see a little bit of the stick right in there. Let's go ahead and adhere this down since we have all that done anyhow. So I'm just gonna put some liquid adhesive on here. As you can see, I'm very neat and tidy with this. Note sarcasm. We're gonna take our piece for our headline. Okay, and we're just gonna center it kind of on top of it. So right about there. Make sure it's straight. And once we have it on here, I'm going to put adhesive underneath where the stick's gonna go. So we're just gonna lay this on top. You can see that this shape right here was created for the stick to stick out. So I'm just going to, in this small area, if I can pick it up, roughly an inch, like that kind of thing. I'm going to just, on the back side, I'm gonna do this so you guys can see. Okay, and then I'm gonna stick it through so it looks like the stick's going through that. Okay, so there's your headline. For the element of the campfire, this is what we're going to need. We're gonna cut off these two little pieces. These are just accent pieces that go above it. We won't put those back on until we put it on the actual layout. But let's cut those off. This foam core is so cute. Gives it a little bit extra dimension. And the yellow was created so it just fits directly into the red. We're gonna put those aside. Okay, so line up, you're gonna have to do this. I would figure out which way that the logs go before you start gluing it down. Don't put any glue on until you figure out how they go together. So dry fit it and go, okay, that's where it goes. And then you can glue it up together. I'm gonna use a little bit of another piece of the foam core to pop it up a little bit and to kind of hold it together. But you can stick it straight to the layout. Okay. So it should line up perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and get the one piece of your craft stock, 12 by 12, and we're gonna actually just adhere it down. I feel like it's pointless to, I have my two fire embers, I guess is what they are. Okay. So this is gonna go roughly in this area. It can go wherever you want, but this is how our layout went. Okay, so I'm gonna first put down my yellow where I want it and then slide the red on top of it. Because like I said, they fit in perfectly. Just make sure it's laying flat. The foam core piece can get just a tad warped. Not permanently, but just a little disjointed. Okay, so yellow is down. This is not held down yet. Now I'm going to put some glue on the foam core. We chose foam core because the glitter was really pretty and then it gave it a little extra dimension. Okay, so once it's glued, just kind of put it on top and tuck it around that yellow. Perfection. Okay, for the wood portion of the fire, I feel like I'm kind of hanging over on one side. I actually think I'm just gonna put this big old piece on there. I'm gonna put the logs in front of it. It's a little high. I changed my mind. I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use the thinner tear tape. That's foam. Because I don't want it doesn't need to stick up too far. So just put your foam on there. This is a foam tear tape. I can give you that link if you want it. Okay. So this will just give it a little bit of dimension so it sits a little bit higher than the red and yellow. Oh, no. Sticking on my finger. Okay. So what I like to do, the circly parts of the logs will be at the bottom. I'm going to go just over the edge of the red and the yellow. So it's going to sit right there. Now, for these two little ember pieces, I'm going to trim them up. They kind of look like teardrops. Okay. One, it doesn't matter which goes where. They're roughly the same. I think one's just slightly bigger than the other, longer than the other. Okay. You can put them wherever. I'm going to put them where my layout shows it. So one at the top and one over here. So it looks like the fires are dancing away. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue, stick her down, and a little bit of glue and stick her down. This is your left page. Just a super quick PSA in regards to cutting the red and black check. You'll see, I'm gonna try to get this in the frame again. You'll see on your instructions where it says right here that this is your black and red check paper. This is your 12 by 12. You're going to cut 7 3/4 down. So you will have that, okay? This piece that I just cut off is all extra if you wanna add tag or anything, okay? So then this one's 4 1/4 wide, and this is 7 3/4 wide. The next thing we're gonna work on is the larger tag that's over here with the fire underneath it that says hot mess. That the whole thing says I'm a hot mess, meaning the s'more, not yourself. So let's take the rest of the stuff out of the bag. We're gonna take the fire part that goes on the left-hand side, so we're gonna move that aside. The logs, the lighter color and the darker color, those all can get moved to the left-hand side, and the rest of it is for the tag. So this is our base part, which I'm gonna move over here. You have the large black tag, and then you have the parts of the s'more. So the very first thing we're going to do is I'm gonna take this so we can see, because I feel like you can't really see that much. We're gonna take this top graham cracker piece. This goes right underneath the top portion of the graham cracker. So it will go on that top piece. So the first thing we're going to do is cut apart I'll say the lid to the s'more. So they're just two really easy pieces. Then we're going to adhere. I love this graham cracker, I think it's so cute. We're going to use a little bit of adhesive. Now, for something like this, I would just say do some dots. I don't know if everybody can see this. Okay. It doesn't have to be covered, but you do want it to adhere down. Okay, so graham cracker piece goes right on top of the darker colored, it's probably like a rhombus or something like that, but I'm gonna call it the squished rectangle. Okay, so once you have that, move it aside. Make sure everything is sticking down. Now, you have your marshmallow piece. You have your base. This is your marshmallow piece has a flat, which is the top, and then you have this pointy thing, which is the squishy marshmallow part. You can also, if you'd like, put some glitter glue or stickles or whatever you have. That would look super cute. We're just gonna do the bottom triangle part with some glue. And we're gonna stick that down, okay? Now, the next thing we're gonna do is put on this really amazing, look at that glitter, it's pretty fantastic. We're gonna do just along the top edge, we're just gonna put some glue. And it is going to sit just like this. there will be, at the top portion, a tiny bit of white. It's gonna get covered, so it doesn't really matter. We just want it to look nice and ooey gooey like a normal s'more. Okay, so the next piece is going to be putting the top piece on. We have that little edge so that it will grab the glue so that it doesn't slide right off. So that is, I'm gonna push this down a little bit. That's your s'more. How cute is he? Okay, so that's the start of that. We're gonna pop that him up on top of here. Those of you that have scrapped with me before and created some of my layouts know that one of my tips, this is a beauty, isn't it? Is to keep this is just foam core, is to keep pieces of foam core like this around for things like this. So instead of using 100 pop dots, because it's a bigger piece, we're going to cut off just a hunk of it. I keep my scraps of pretty much everything. And I'm sure a lot of you do that also, but that's okay. That's what we do. I'm just gonna cut a couple of pieces that will fit. Actually, this one's probably gonna fit pretty well right here. That will hold it up a little bit better and not have that bowing in the middle, and you don't have to use 412,000 pop dots. So that's my little trick of the trade. I'm not sure how much of a trick it is. So I'm just gonna stick that on the back of it. You can use pop dots, obviously, if that's what you have on hand, please use what you have. I keep little pieces like this in my toolbox just so I can use them for headlines and things like that. So I'm just gonna stick this guy on now that I've got the pop dots on there. I'm going to stick him, he's gonna go basically in the middle, and on top of him, it's going to say, I'm A. So your little glitter pieces in there, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off where they connect. Hold on one sec. And on our layout, you will see right here, it says I'm A, and it's actually in the upper graham cracker area. Sounds like medical. In the upper graham cracker area. All right, so I've got a dot on my glue. I love this glitter paper. Okay, so I'm A. Okay, and then on the other side, we're gonna put the A. Ooh, she was a little crooked there. Okay, so that's I'm A, and then it goes on top of the hot mess flame. So I'm a hot mess. Just because we were talking about using the foam core, I'm gonna go crazy and put a piece of foam core underneath here to pop that up. Because as most of you know that have crafted with me, I kind of dig my pop dot thing. You don't have to use anything like super expensive for the foam core. I legit buy mine from the dollar store. And I know that's not what you're supposed to do. I'm supposed to go tell you to buy the very expensive stuff, but seriously, don't. Okay, so the circle was created for this, so there should just be perfect space around it. Just make sure that the hole for the tag portion is at the top. Okay, so there you go. There is your tag. I will put it on this so you can see what it's going to look like on the layout.